And that brings us to Subspecies 4, Bloodstorm. Unfortunately, there's not a storm of blood in the movie anywhere. So, a bit of a misnomer. It was made several years after the end of Part 3 as a way to sort of definitively wrap up the series. Here's the problem I have with that, though. I kind of felt like Part 3 did definitively wrap up the series. Yeah, we've got the little subspecies at the end, implying that Radu could be resurrected for a future film, but, you know, Michelle's a vampire now, but she gets away with her family and friends. Radu's tortured existence has been ended, and Bucharest, Romania is safe for all the Romanians. I don't think we really needed a Bloodstorm, but we got one. Despite having the same writer and director, Ted Nicolau, the first three films had, and despite having Hannes Hoven back as Radu and Denise Duff back as Michelle, it's just a really weak movie. And that kind of kills me because I really wanted to like it. There's some things about it that are really interesting, really fun to watch. But after investing time in the first three films, it just kind of felt like an unnecessary addition. Radu is resurrected, but not even by the subspecies creatures. In fact, they're nowhere to be seen in the film at all, which might have to do with David Allen no longer being a part of Full Moon. The movie has some highlights, has more low points than anything else. We get to see Radu's progeny, Ash, who's well acted for, you know, a Full Moon feature, but doesn't have an awful lot to do. Doesn't have an awful lot of personality. He does have a pretty great line, though, in the movie, and it's not so much the line itself, just how it's delivered when he's playing his piano looking super depressed after his master, Radu, has moved back into his castle. One of Ash's vampires comes over and says something about Radu, and he's just playing the piano really depressed and says, "Radu is insane. We should best stay away from him." And it's pretty funny. Subspecies 4 eventually ends with Michelle and her new Romanian friend confronting Radu in Ash's castle, in Radu's ancestral castle, as we learn in the movie, and cutting his head off, burning his body, and then leaving his decapitated head in the sun, where it would turn to ash. Then we get a voiceover from Michelle that says Radu's body was returned to ash and he was destroyed forever, and she, Michelle, unlocked the secrets of the Bloodstone to return herself to human. Which seemed like a, you know, way too neat and tidy thing to do. We didn't see, you know, her unlocking the secrets of the Bloodstone. None of the movies up until that point even gave any indication that the Bloodstone could do anything other than, you know, drip blood. I mean, there's some little implication that it had magical properties, but certainly none that it could reverse vampirism based on absolutely nothing. Michelle could just use it to, maybe if I drink this dripping blood of the saints, I won't be a vampire anymore. That didn't work out too well for Radu, since the fourth movie, Bloodstorm, implies that it was the Bloodstone that drove him insane. Or at least it seemed to maybe imply that. There's a lot wrong with Bloodstorm. If you really, really enjoyed the first three movies, as I did, Bloodstorm, you should give it a watch, but don't do anything other than that. Or if you just watched the first three movies and thought, you know what, that was alright, that was okay, then Bloodstorm's completely unnecessary. It's an addition that doesn't, it's not terrible, but it is definitely the weakest of those four films. Full Moon has said a couple of times over the past couple of years that they would like to make another Subspecies movie, this one being a prequel. So that would be interesting. I would definitely enjoy seeing that. But hasn't materialized yet. Haven't gotten any new information on it yet, as of this video anyway. But we'll see what happens. Overall, I highly recommend Subspecies 1, 2, and 3 to anyone interested in low-budget horror or anyone interested in vampire films. Radu is definitely a villain that will stay in your mind, even if you don't particularly enjoy the rest of the film series at all. So, that's my little overview discussion of the Subspecies franchise. I kept it as spoiler-free as I possibly could, just told it in broad strokes, so you could still be surprised by some of the things in the films. Although I guess I did kind of ruin the endings on a couple of them. It doesn't matter. You're going to watch it anyway. Or not. Your choice. So, that was this episode, episode 1. If you guys and gals and others enjoyed it, like me, subscribe to me, subscribe to us, rather. Bojack Productions, we do other things. Question, comments in the comment section. What would you like a later video to be about? Would you like there to be any later videos? There are probably going to be regardless. Anyway, I'll see you guys sometime soon.